Now I've got a question from the audience. So let me just pull this up here quick.
Hi, I'm Matt, and this is Hercules, and we have a question about cash for keys, which is an option to consider instead of eviction. So when you're doing cash for keys, how much should you offer the tenant to hand over the keys and leave the apartment?
That's a good question. And that, again, that's kind of a tricky question because remembering that we manage for different owners, part of our discussion would be, let's go back to the owner. That's where we become an advocate. We're looking at that risk mitigation. What's the best possible scenario? Nobody wants to go to court. Nobody wants to be evicted. They don't want it on their record. We really just don't want to go to court. It's how can we minimize that problem? I will say we have a very low eviction rate on purpose. We do a very good job screening our prospects to be, our applicants to become tenants. We do deny a lot of tenants or applicants because we want to make sure that we're putting the best possible person into that property based on what the owner's hoping to have, also based on the law, what we're following. When it comes to cash for keys, we've done this. And I think what it is it's case by case. So it's looking at each situation. Well, how far behind are you? We hope we're not like 2 or 3 months. If we are, then we've done something wrong. Again, that comes back to us and our processes. Looking at their scenario, we get life happens. And these are one of those life lessons that I've learned over the last 19 years is that situations happen. Tenants lose their jobs, death in the family. This is where we become understanding and sympathetic, and we have to pass that knowledge on to the owner and say, this is the best possible outcome is to let them, either let them walk away, or if an owner, we've had owners come to us and say, I need to sell my property for whatever reason, something happened on the owner's side. And again, we're trying to be understanding. Then we offer the tenant an option to say, we're going to give you X amount of money to leave because this is the situation. Unfortunately, the tenant is in a legal binding contract. So if they choose not to leave, there's almost nothing we can do unless we can come to an agreement. Now, if the tenant is in a situation where they have to leave, that's where we just negotiate what's the best possible scenario. And then we have to look at also our guarantees that we've given to the owner. So we have a guarantee if for whatever reason the tenant leaves during that life of the lease, that we're going to replace that tenant for free. Because if they've defaulted on their rent, for whatever, or I should say default on their contract is probably a better way, and they up and leave, abandon the property, or we do something like that, we're going to have to replace that tenant for free and not charge the owner. Okay.
Is that guarantee for the entire length of the contract?
It is for, it's the guarantee, the guarantees kind of mirror the lease. Okay. So our contracts with the owners don't mirror the lease term because your leases can stagger.
Yeah.
And so, but if we place a tenant, we're going to guarantee that tenant. So we can't guarantee rent. I don't think anybody I've ever met in my entire life has ever been able to guarantee rent because you can't guarantee anybody can pay their mortgage. So you can't guarantee the monetary piece of it, but I can guarantee that we're backing what we've done, that screening. And if we've placed that tenant, we'll guarantee it. If we didn't place the tenant, we can't put that guarantee in place.
Yep, makes sense. Well, I can see where each situation is going to really be different.
Right.
But it's good to know that this tool is available if that might help the situation resolve itself.
Yeah, right.
So, well, listen, I got to talk to my audience real briefly here.
Sure.
As you just noticed, we had a question from the audience, and I would like to invite anybody else, if you've got kind of a burning question that you'd like to ask a property manager or how to handle a situation at your properties, feel free to submit that to us. There will be a little instructions in the show notes, and so we'd love to just continue with the audience participation in that way. So thank you. Want to hear more on this topic? Click the link below for the full episode of Maximizing Your Property Value.